All right. Greatness is yours once you claim it. I am Keystone. I'm a synthesizer of energy, frequencies, and information that generates increases of consciousness, self-awareness, and self-love for those who do not know who they are or the power they possess. This is KodeR.E.D. Um, it's been a little while since I've been able to get before you or even just express myself to that one particular person this is going to reach out and touch. But yeah, they had me on ice, and they kindly thawed me out, and so I'm gonna go about it pretty much the same mission as before, but go about it a different way. So today, um, well, pretty much anything with KodeR.E.D, everything is surrounded by self-work. So today, that's what I'm gonna express today. Just you know what I'm saying, just everything starts within, or begins within and ends within. So self-work is the perfect place to start because it's you, and anything that's going to change with you has to begin with you. So yeah, this feels good to be back. It's going to take a little bit to get back into the flow, get my legs up under me, but it shouldn't take too long. But yeah, so just again, I'm expressing myself, my experiences, and just how I see the world. And all I'm doing is seeking to reach one person, as I was once reached, and it's just going to be a chain reaction. So starting off, again, I jumped out on these videos to, spread the message, spread the word, to bring information and energy out to those who don't have access to it, or some of the things that's talked about. I definitely comprehend that it's not even within the realm of your reality or actuality, but these are the things that are going on. And so jumping out the box, with so much that I want to share is, I have to do it in incremental steps. And, I guess I was compacting too much in that little bit of time. So again, self-work. So I just had to reevaluate what's going on. So I see the parameters and the boundaries. So just going to conduct myself within. So again, I'm thawed out now. They had me on ice, so didn't receive any correspondence as to why or how. It just happened. So here we go. So self-work. So self-work. So, again, my mission, once I accepted that my purpose was to share, to teach, to help, and learn the laws of the universe and how to conduct yourself and produce, and how everything can be used for your benefit when you know what's going on. But the world that we live in, they keep us in the dark. So jumping out with the videos, I know that was very intricate and important in my process, because I had to grow and go beyond where I was currently standing, and where I was currently standing wasn't where I wanted to be. So in order to get to that level that I aspire to attain, I have to evolve and become the person that will be getting what I commanded from the universe. And that is something that sounds, however it sounds to you, to each his own. But I remember how it sounded to me when I first heard talk like that. It sounded like the people were on drugs and they were high. But to tell the truth, they're high off of their energy. It doesn't have to be a substance. It could be your thoughts and your mind. So from where I was at, I progressed. And so again, got to the point where, it was time to release videos, because I had to be able to express and be able to speak and share. And also with the information that I had, it doesn't do me any good to hold on to it. So doing the videos, everything was flowing. So I believe I may have got to about 20 before they, cut me off, and, it was cool. So the past couple of weeks, I got to do a lot of things behind the scenes and build more with the team, and do some self-evaluating, and pretty much I knew when the starting gun went off again when I came out the blocks. I knew I had to hit the turf, in full motion. So here we are. But within, again, self-work, it allowed me, and it got me to the point where I used to have a plan, and I wanted to do that plan as I had planned it. And if anything came to alter it, or where it required me to modify it, I was more reluctant to it because that wasn't the original plan. But when you understand the universe, understand the universe and how things work and operate, everything happens in due time and in its own order. So with that happening, instead of looking at it and from a negative perspective, look at it for the beneficial perspective. So, okay, that gave me a couple of weeks to do some things behind the scene. And yeah, it stopped me from doing the videos, but that was cool because I got to do again some other things behind the scenes. So that's real important with anything that you're doing in life. So if there's something in life that you choose to do or you desire to do, and whether it's lack of resources, finances, contacts, or any number of things, don't do not stop pursuing what you desire. It may not go directly as you planned, but if you stop, you could be 2 blocks away, 3 feet away, 20 yards away, 2 miles away from that breakthrough. But if you don't know that everything that you're doing is to benefit you, primarily, number one, because if you can't benefit you, you can't be a benefit of anybody else. All you can do is be used. You can't be of service. When you're of service, that is something that you're providing. When you're used, that's somebody taking advantage of whatever you have. And that's what, this realm and this universe is about being used rather than being in control of your own life and your own destiny and being in a position to direct yourself where you want to go. So the importance of self-work, well, number one, pretty much the primary, I don't want to say disease, the primary diagnosis of, depression and things that are wrong with people is not, they don't have a disease, they don't have a problem. It's a lack of self-worth and self-love and self-knowledge. Because if you truly knew yourself and loved yourself and knew your worth, there's no way that you could treat yourself as you currently do or make the decisions that you currently do or have done or wherever you are in your process. But once you begin to value you and you know your value, you're not going to settle for that BS that you used to settle for. And all of that begins with self-work self-work, because you have to get comfortable with talking and speaking about yourself in the position that you desire to be. If you desire yourself to be powerful, then you must begin your conversation. You must begin to express yourself as that powerful being and get used to saying that. Because, what I'm saying, I know it sounds weird to somebody to say, I am wealthy, I have everything that I desire right now within my hands, and you're looking at them and they dress like you and eat the same as you and, got the same lifestyle. But little do you know that they're building momentum within themselves and the universe to get what they desire, while you're laughing and smirking at them, and that's BS or that's silly stuff or that's that whatever you want to label it. That's truly them connecting with the universe. Those that laugh at something like that are really detaching themselves from it, because that's pretty much, honestly, in a nutshell, what honestly, the Antichrist is anti-nature. Christ is nature. We're of nature. We're natural beings. And the further you get away from self, that's anti-Christ. If you're one of Christ, you're part of Christ. Christ is in you, so on and so forth. You know the phrases. And when you remove yourself from you, the natural aspect of yourself, you're anti-you. You're anti-nature. You're anti-natural. When you go to materialistic things and chemicals and so on and so forth, that's not natural. So that's being anti-natural, anti-Christ. And that's a big part of what happens with people with their self-worth. It's okay for somebody to give you accolades or to speak on your behalf, but for you to speak on your own behalf, people, that's braggadocious, that's this, that's that. But if you're sincere and everything in your life and the energy and everything that you do requires you to be the best and you produce being the best, then that's what you are. So there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is that people who are not living to their full potential are downing you for living up to yours. And that's ass backwards. There's no way that somebody not doing something to better themselves should be downing somebody that's doing something to better themselves. That's just truly how I see it. And those that are bettering themselves will see others that are doing better and will reach back or reach forward or reach to the side and share. That's one thing that's astounding along my journey of these processes, is that as I built myself up and desired and commanded, from the universe what I desired, people are put in positions to assist and to aid. And even if you want to call them obstacles, that's cool, because you got to look at everything and see the benefits. So that one person that was shady or did you wrong, or you did them wrong, or whatever it is, you got to be able to reach in there, pull out the good and what's beneficial for you, and let the rest ride. Don't hold on to it, because everything that you take with you is going to be with you. Plain and simple. So whatever doesn't service you, let it go. And, yeah, you got to let it go, because walking and carrying things for 30, 40, and 50 years along with you, you got to be tired. I was tired of it. I am tired. And so I'm releasing every day. Again, I'm not speaking from a position of perfection. I'm just sharing. I'm in this process just like you. I was at a position somewhere along the process, you know, where you're at or where you came from or where you're going. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to look and process life in that manner, to truly look at life as it truly is, and to look at the natural rather than the unnatural. And again, those that are close to me and that I associate with, rule number one, excuse me, all is mental. There's nothing that doesn't happen in your life that you didn't think it, or you don't produce anything in your life that you did not think first. It's absolutely impossible. Everything in life, where you are right now, where you were yesterday, and where you're going, are all products or results of your thinking. And if you desire to be something different or be somewhere different than where you currently are, then that means you have to think different things. You have to talk different talk. You have to hear different things. You have to do something totally different. There's no way to adjust or change anything that's going to have been going on in your life from today backwards, that if you don't change today forward, is going to mirror exactly what you just left until you do something different, whether that be exercise, drink more water, get around better conversation, educate yourself, get into yoga, take walks, breathe oxygen, write, draw, network, start a business, build. And in order to do those type of things and for them to be enjoyable, you have to be in a certain space. There's not too many things that I enjoy doing that I would call my hobby or leisurely things, or anything of benefit that I enjoy that I can fully do in a pissed off or a negative mode. I may do some things to sway my mood a little bit, but there's no way that I can fully create projects and concepts and write and be in the mode of negativity, thinking about all these other things that are not serving me. So what you have to do and begin to value yourself, your time, your energy, what you think about, again, what you hear. I mean, if you're around a bunch of people, all they do is talk shit, rumors, or just complaining, just anything that's not serving you, you have to be able to distance yourself and be fine with it. I mean, if you're not being who you once were because you're choosing not to be around that anymore, that's progress. That's how you must begin to experience that. Look at that as progress. You're not doing what you once did. There's no way that I desire to think the way that I did when I was 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. I can't even operate like that anymore. And I'm not ashamed to laugh at it, but it's all in growth. There are some people the same age as myself that are still doing the same things we did when we were in our younger 20s and mid 20s and 30s. But hey, everybody's in their own process, on their own journey. And again, it's self-worth, your self-value. How can you truly be of value to the world and truly know it without having a sense of your value? Because if you don't and you can't gauge your value, then how are you able to assess the value that you're able to bring? It's impossible, because if you don't value yourself, you know, naturally you're gonna feel worthless. You're gonna feel, you know, you're not worthy of these things. You know, you're living a life of luck and just all the negative aspects of life and negative energies you're going to allow to compound and build upon you, and you're going to wear that like a cloak. You're going to put it on like a trench coat and walk around, and summer, you know, 150-degree day, you know, 150 percent humidity, and you're still in that trench coat of doubt and worthlessness, all because you're keeping it in your mind. You got to be able to let that stuff go. Again, self work is work. Is not. There's really no other way to say it or express it, but it is self work, and it has to happen daily. It's not a thing that, you know, you think about it for 20 minutes and boom, you're thinking and elevating and vibrating on a higher frequency, and you don't do other things, the things that you desire not to do. No, it's work. It takes discipline. It takes practice. Um, it truly does. I mean, there's no way that, just for instance, exercising. For those that exercise, I mean, you have to commit to exercising. I mean, whether it's, you know, once a week, 3 times a week, or 5 times a week, you have to say to yourself, I'm going to take this time and I'm going to dedicate this to me, because this is going to benefit me in the long run. Yeah, physically, yeah, you know, it's going to show off and benefit it. The work is going to show, but as time goes on, this is something that's going to benefit you in your later years. As you get older, you know, you get more brittle. You know, older people falling down and, you know, breaking 3 or 4, 5, 6 bones in different places, and all because the loss of muscle density and muscle mass and bone density. Not saying you had to be a bodybuilder, but invest in yourself. I mean, you've lived long enough to see what older people look like, and you've been around enough older people to see what they've done in their life to end up in the physical conditions that they are in. So what's wrong with taking it upon yourself and saying, I'm not going to do that? I don't want to end up like that. I don't want to fall down and break my elbow, my thigh, and my ankle because I fell on the couch or something. I mean, within your diet and other things as well. But this is what I'm speaking about. The self work is, you got to, when you know yourself, you value yourself. And if, you know, and naturally, as you know, we progress in age, you know, your capabilities or your physical abilities are, you know, lessened. And but the thing is make that transition. Okay, you can't do everything you could do physically, you used to do physically, but also in the same breath, you definitely aren't able to think and process as you once did when you were younger. So begin to nurture the mind, work on your thinking, work on enhancing your brain, your vocabulary, a new language. Shoot, again, yoga, qigong, meditation. You know, water, fruits, vegetables, juice. Get some sun. Walk outside barefooted in the grass. Um, just be around nature. And the further you remove yourself from the hustle and bustle of, you know, the city life, or I guess it's lack of a better way, city life, and put yourself back in nature, that's how you ground yourself. That's one thing. We get surrounded by concrete and we don't go to grass. We don't go see, you know, take deep breaths in I ain't gonna say a forest, but around trees. You know what I'm saying? Just being in the sunshine. For instance, you know, it's winter time right now. You still need oxygen. Many people are closed up in their house. So, I mean, at least 2 times a day, go by a window, crack the window and breathe in some of that cold air for like 10 to 15 minutes. It's not going to kill you. It definitely can, but you got to do things to benefit you, because if you allow others to dictate to you what's best for you, that's a shitty position to be in. That's horrible. At what point in time are you going to be able to speak for yourself, about yourself, for yourself? it has to begin, and that only happens when you begin your work on yourself. How can you speak on things that you don't know, you're not aware of? So you have to rely on somebody else to tell you about you, because you never took the time to find out about yourself outside of, a label or TV shows, but within. And when I say self work, is, yeah, naturally on the outside, but all of this is inside. Is inner work. I mean, what for instance, like, she would just be real. Like, the people that know that they're lactose intolerant, they know not to any milk products or anything they're going to do that deals with milk. They have a decision to make. They either going to eat that ice cream, but they know within a half hour to 2 hours they got to be near a toilet. But that's just another way of saying self work. They know themselves, so they can make that decision. Now, if they didn't know themselves, they're eating ice cream and don't understand why they're boo booing on themselves, and, just real gaseous, and don't find out until they go to a doctor. But they never took the time to realize that, man, every time I drink milk or I eat um, ice cream or cereal or something, this happens to my stomach. But if you're not in tune to yourself, you don't even notice those little things. So, like I said, self work is just going inside. As far as you're sleeping, what do how much time do you need? Do you need 10 hours of sleep? Do you need 4 hours of sleep? Do you need six? Find out what you need and make sure you get that. If you can operate off of four, then you need a nap later on. Then do that. But what you do is start conducting and forming your life around what's best for you. You got to create your winning habits. That's truly what it's about. When you look at your life as it is now, look what time you get up, what you do with, again, 24 hours. Everyone gets the same 24 hours. So your 24 hours, do you wake up, lay in the bed for extra 3 or 4 hours, look at some TV, um, get on the phone, social media, so on and so forth, and then do something productive? Or do you get up and exercise? Do you meditate? Do you drink your water? Do you sun gaze? Do you write, or do you do business, or what do you do? There's different things that you can do, but you have to figure out for yourself what it is that you desire. If you desire to be in a higher tax bracket, then you have to mold yourself into the person that's going to be in the higher tax bracket. To wish and think it is fantastic, but the universe isn't going to give you anything until you're ready for it. And if you do get it before you're ready for it, it's guaranteed you're going to lose it. So, to sit around and talk with the boys and fellas and, the ladies about, being millionaires and having businesses and so on and so forth. But if nobody can get up before 8 o'clock in the morning, there's not many businesses that, there are businesses, but to get to that upper echelon, there are things that you're going to have to do. Again, your food. One of the gentlemen that I, catch every once in a while, before 12 o'clock, he eats nothing but fruit. And he says that the reason why he does that is because one thing people don't know is how much energy our body burns processing our food, digesting our food. And so he says, so if he could take that energy that his body would use digesting breakfast, whatever breakfast foods would be, and just use light food, food fed from the sun, that'll give him that much more energy later on in the day. So if you're hearing that for the first time, it sounds weird and doesn't make sense. But if you're in tune to yourself and you comprehend the benefit of eating a healthy and lighter diet, meaning as far as sun-fed foods, that's a wonderful idea. And it would take discipline to do that. I mean, the majority of the people that you're around are not going to be wanting to eat fruit for breakfast every day. Okay, a time or two, a special occasion, but every day they're not going to want to do that. So that's that self-worth that you're going to have to do for yourself. Are you worth it? Are you worth not eating, the grits, pancakes, sausages, eggs, and wherever else you're from? Shoot, chorizo, burrito, what? So yeah, you gotta let that go, and it's for you. And so yeah, like people say, oh, it won't hurt me if you eat one, but if you eat one every day for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, that's no longer one. That's a couple of hundred or up to 1,000. So again, it's all on you. If you feel that you're going to be fine and you're cool with being as you are, then hey, all to you. But the thing is we're here to be the best at strive for excellence, not perfection. Strive for excellence. We've been conditioned to accept mediocrity as being okay. Just good enough is okay, and that's truly, I can say for myself, the way for a while that was my thing. Just okay, as far as school, okay, my grades are going to be just good enough to be eligible. Work, okay, I'm gonna work just just enough to make whatever money they're going to pay me, and so on and so forth. I mean, just sliding by, never truly comprehending what excellence is, and demanding excellence from yourself and commanding excellence from yourself. You know what I'm saying? Just sliding by, just okay, as long as I made it, whew, okay, whew, as long as I made it. But when you live a life of mediocrity, that's all you get. And so when you settle for mediocrity, you see people that are ascending above and so far beyond where you are to the realms that you once desired. It creates resentment towards them, but all they're doing is just living who they're supposed to be, or making a decision to be something that they desire to be. You're the one, or I was the one that chose to be in the position that I was in. Nobody told me not to do this or not to do that or to do that. Those were decisions I made. As you know, once I heard that everybody everybody is exactly where they wish to be, but only those that are successful will admit it. Again, everybody is exactly where they want to be, but only the successful will admit it. So again, you set whatever standard you have for yourself, and that's what you do. If that isn't what you choose to do, then you have to do something different. And if you can't do something different, that means it's from self. Something's not allowing you to do it, and the thing that's not allowing you to do it is you. You know what I'm saying? You. Well, when I say you, I'm included. You're the one that chose not to get up. You're the one that chose to do this or not to do that, to go there rather than to do this, or delay this and not do that, or you know what I'm saying? These are all decisions, and you must accept that you don't get to where you did not get to where you are overnight. It was a succession of right or wrong or bad decisions. It was, yeah, it's not just one decision and boom, you're right there. It's you made a decision and now you're here. Now that you're here, you can move yourself any direction that you choose to go. But you have to start within. You have to love yourself enough to accept that you may not be liked by everybody that you once thought liked you. I mean, you got to look at it. Everybody's going to be here roughly 100 years, 200 years, 300 years down the line. None of these people are going to be here. They're laughing at you or making fun of you, all of that. Like I said, years ago. I mean, like again, I share when I had my breakthrough, when it was put to me as far as your neurons, however you think, your brain, fires those signals, the same pathways that the way that you think. So just like cutting between the yards, houses in between the yard as a shortcut, as long as people are constantly walking that shortcut, the grass is going to be worn out. But once the people put that fence up to stop that flow, the grass is going to fill. So I bring that up to say, with the negative thoughts, granted, I had dynamite conversations with people and, we're riding a serious high, from the conversation and the synergy that was produced, but then get to by myself and it's like, well, damn, ain't nobody gonna do this, ain't nobody gonna do that, or you kill your own dreams. And when you do that and think like that for 30 and 40 years, do you realize to what extreme you have to go to within yourself to produce the total opposite effect of what you've been doing, it takes work. It's nothing that happens overnight or instantaneous. You have to constantly tell yourself that you are what you desire to be. You are, excuse me, you are right now what you desire to be. You are right now what you desire to be. You have to tell yourself that. You have to speak that about yourself. You can't talk negatively about yourself because, again, words are power. They're spelling and they create energy. And if you're not a believer of that, call anybody that you anybody that you call that you speak the MF, the whole word, and I guarantee the energy from that word would change. I mean, words have power. And I just said that just as a joke, but words have power. And when you consider yourself a failure, you're dumb, you're slow, you ain't shit, or you this and you're that, you bring that to reality. Your subconscious mind absorbs that as being fact because you said that about yourself. So why would you say that about yourself if it wasn't true? That's how your subconscious mind works. Your conscious mind, yeah, you can say, "Oh, I know I was joking," but your subconscious mind has no filter. It takes everything at 100 proof. At 100 proof. So when you at a point in life where you want to be better or do better, you have to begin by thinking and speaking that, regardless of what anybody around you says when you speak that. That's your self-worth, your self-value. You have to be willing to look goofy for yourself. If that's a better way to put it, you have to be willing to look goofy for yourself. Are you worth looking goofy for? But it's only going to be temporary because those that are chastising you or ridiculing you or making fun of you, you realize you got to accept that you're moving beyond where you once stood. And where you once stood is the way that they're seeing you. Now that you're out of their tunnel vision, they're going to have to move in order to see you. But a lot of people don't. They choose to keep in their lane. So when you shift lanes or you elevate and go above and beyond where you once were, you have to be fine with that. You truly do. And those that once made fun of you, hey, they may continue to make fun of you, but I guarantee they're going to be watching you from afar. And what they're watching is to see how consistent you're going to be if you're going to maintain it. So once you begin producing gets fruits of the labor, meaning as far as your conversation, your energy, what you speak about, how you carry yourself, your talk, your appearance, just everything is going to magically shift. And magically, I said that intentionally, it's going to magically shift because that's what you said you desire and that's what you're choosing to become. But it has to start within your mind, just like they have to keep in their mind that they don't want to improve. The same way that they're choosing not to improve or grow, they shouldn't have any ill will towards you, like as you should have no ill will toward them for them choosing to stay as they are. Again, everybody has their process. Everybody is, maybe their mission was to be that, but it's all a decision. At any moment, you can change. You can change that. At one point in time, I was lower than low is low, and now, well, I will not be seeing that again. I will not allow it. And going back to the neurons, I had to talk again like a seesaw. You know what I'm saying? You're on a seesaw, so all your negative thoughts are heavier than your good thoughts. And you had that conversation and shifted a little bit, but I had to get to where I spoke so highly and beneficial of everything that these negative thoughts can't even shift the seesaw. It doesn't even tip the scale a teeny bit. But it again, it took self-work. It takes self-work. It's continuous. It doesn't stop. You know what I'm saying? Please don't believe, please don't, please don't think that, it's a one time event. It's every day, I'm not even gonna say it's everyday mission. I say that. That's the mission every day. Just like you didn't get as jacked up as you are right now, overnight, you're not going to improve overnight. As with anything, when you're drawing, you don't start off drawing outstanding pictures. Maybe you do, but the major majority of us don't. It takes work. It takes practice. You have to learn your touch, your stroke, angles and lighting and shading and so on and so forth. Same thing with cooking. I mean, shoot, if you learned at home, your mom may start you with boiling water. She may start you with toast or an egg or a fried hot dog or bologna, or just so you can learn the fundamentals. So the same thing with self-improvement. It takes work. And the fundamentals of that is your talk to yourself, because you're the first person to hear everything that you say. You're the only person that hears what you think. So if you think negatively about yourself or you talk negatively about yourself, you have a captive audience, which is yourself. So how can you talk negative about yourself and you don't hear it? Or how can you have negative thoughts about yourself and you don't think it or you don't acknowledge it? It all starts with self. It ends with self, and it is self. So with that, you have to, like I said, it may feel awkward. It truly did. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, Keystone, you're this, hey, everybody's going to want this. This is what you're going to do. Yeah, it's that time. This is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're going to do. And nobody's going to do it like you. And even though there's millions of people doing it, I'm still going to do it. So it just in very different variations, but that's the talk. And so that led up to the videos. I mean, for about 2 years, probably longer, actually, probably 3 to 4, honestly. But I just was building, what I'm saying, had the station already. I mean, all the stuff was already named and outlined and so on and so forth. It was just building myself up to be the one that's, before you now. And again, never claiming perfection, but I'm in front of this camera and you're at the screen. So it took time. And once I accepted what it was going to be for myself, I just had to build myself up to become the person that is able to express myself in front of this camera, in front of one person that's going to, benefit from this. But again, it's self work. You have to know yourself enough and love yourself enough to know and acknowledge to yourself that you are not where you desire to be. You have to. You can fool everybody else, you know what I'm saying? You can take the pictures and selfies and get your nails done, hair done, haircuts, and clothes and shoes. But once you undress yourself and you're looking at yourself butt ass naked in front of the mirror before you get into the shower, you can't hide from yourself. Some people have mirrors where you can only see from the neck up, but you still can't hide from yourself. When you're butt ass naked in front of the mirror, is you. And for you to rely on clothing to make you, that's superficial. That's has to come to an end, because superficiality is, there's no substance. All that can be washed away with water or the wind. What's inside is what truly matters. And that's truly where it's at. You have to go within yourself. You have to will your way to become or achieve what you desire. It's a process, and the process has to begin. There's no way that you're going to get to point B until you move yourself from point A. That's the key to getting to point B, is you have to move off of point A. You can't stay on point A and desire to touch point B. You have to remove yourself from point A to get to point B. So, however or whatever you must do to do that, begin that process. Again, everyone gets the same 24 hours in the day. And I never can consider myself a hater, but I did assess others' talents. Like, man, how did they do that? Shit, I can do that. Man, what? They did that? Inventions and so on and so forth. I mean, just real quick, something goofy. The wedge invention. It's a foam wedge, and you put it behind your pillow, on the bed in between the walls. So when you got your headboard, so your items or your cell phone won't fall back. And I remember seeing that, and wow, I could have did that, and so many other people, because with my forearms, it was a tight fit to grab my cell phone. Constantly grabbing my cell phone between the wall and trying to reach it on the floor because it fell from the back side. But that person took action. They saw a need, and I don't know how many cells it had, but I remember that invention. That was like, wow. And same thing with the little pouch that, or whatever the thing is that you put in between your seat and your gear shift in the car. So again, your cell phone and stuff fall out your pocket. It'll fall into this little folder type thing, and I'm sure to make it and to produce it didn't cost much, but they made a decision, and regardless of, I'm sure, who was around them or others that was in their ear, they proceeded and progressed to become what they desired and what they desired. And I'm sure by attaining and acquiring what they did by those inventions, they went on to did bigger things, because it's momentum. Again, want to build momentum to be monumental. And in order to get momentum, you have to get started. Again, I shared before, a will, W-I-L-L, is no different than a W-H-E-E-L. Again, a W-I-L-L is no different than a W-H-E-E-L, because they both require energy to be effective. A will and will requires energy to be effective. Other than that, it's just sitting there. So with your will that you have inside of you, have to put some energy behind it, inside of it. You have to get that moving. Again, whatever it is, if your skills, trade, you used to write back in the day, start writing again. You used to draw back in the day, begin drawing again. You do woodwork, you weld, you're an artist. Shoot, you sew, what I'm saying? You're crafty, or you're a writer. Shoot, you cook. I mean, there's so many things that you could do that you love to do that you don't do anymore because you don't have time to do it. The reason why you don't have time to do it is because you don't set time aside for yourself. Out of your 24 hours, the only time that you set aside for yourself, and that's probably speaking a little heavy on it, is probably sleeping. That's probably the only time that you have out the day that you set aside for yourself. The rest of the 24 hours outside of what your sleeping time is dedicated to doing things for others. Again, I say being of service, doing things of others. When you're of service is when you're providing. So, yeah, you have to, again, your instrument. You haven't played your instrument in years. Pick it up, strum, blow, whatever it is, tap it. Find something that you can channel yourself into at the smallest incremental level to begin. Again, to some people, to carve out an hour, I'm sure in their lifestyle and their routine, it's going to take a while and doing some adjustments to be able to designate 1 hour a day for yourself. But again, you should be worth it. I'm worth it. You're worth it. But the thing is, do you know you're worth it? Are you worth improving? Do you feel that it's going to be wasted improvement by improving yourself? I mean, it has to be something beyond just not doing it to stop you from improving. But you have to begin by improving your thoughts and how you think of yourself and how you talk about yourself. It's tremendously easier to point the finger at everybody and anybody that we've dealt with in our life and point, yeah, certain things that, oh man, if they wouldn't have did this, if they did this and she did that, but as they always say, the common denominator is yourself. And again, everything doesn't have to be a negative experience. It can be positive. It could have been negative at the time or however you feel, but when you're able to assess the situation and elevate your thinking and get out of your emotions, you can learn from everything. Okay, I know not to do that again, or not so much, or avoid this, or whatever it is. You're able to assess that, so that becomes experience. And what that experience does, it adds to your wisdom. That's what wisdom is. Knowledge, yeah, everyone says knowledge is power, but it's truly not. I say knowledge is the energy for wisdom. Knowledge is the energy and the fuel and the power for wisdom. That's what knowledge is. Wisdom is when you apply it and how you apply it. That's where the power is. Yeah, like I said, not to knock that, but again, this is just how I feel about knowledge. But when you don't apply the knowledge, it's again, that's like a full tank of gas in your car, but it's just sitting outside. But once you crank the key up, grab that wheel, and start traveling, that's when you're in motion. You're utilizing that gas for that vehicle, for that car. Same thing with knowledge. Take that knowledge and utilize it in that wisdom. You can't have, yeah, you can't do it backward. You can't amass a bunch of knowledge and then not apply it, because it's good to have, it's good for conversation, but it's not being used. And you're basically hoarding and not allowing new information in. So that's one thing that I understand with the universe, is that whatever I have in me, the more that I share is the more that's going to be shared with me. That's how the universe works. It works in exponential compensation. Whatever you give, you get back tenfold. Again, whatever you give, you get back tenfold. So if you give yourself the value of your time, again, if you give yourself the value of your time, the universe is going to give it back to you exponentially. Are you worth improving? That's what this is all about. Self-worth. You have to be willing to accept that you're not where you desire to be. And if you are, fantastic. But I'm sure that there can be an elevation or increase of something within you, about you, around you. That will only happen once you increase what's inside of you. Before I got on this journey, I was under the perception that everybody around me had to change. It's a problem with them, oh man, all of them, it was everybody, it wasn't me. But when you tap into yourself and you realize and accept that all is one and one is all, that it has to begin with you. You affect what's around you by changing what's inside of you. Saying in short, if you were once a person that used to drink, you're a drinker, and everybody you hung around drank as well. But when you decide to put the drink down and no longer drink, everything around you changes, doesn't it? They don't know how to take you anymore. You're not fun anymore. Some may respect that, you made a decision for your betterment. But again, that's just a small synopsis of you adjusting what's inside of you to affect outside of you. So imagine, like I said, that was dealing with alcohol. Now imagine you get on the mission where you want to do business. You want to produce. You want to improve where you are. So those that are around you are going to be affected. Either those are going to, hey, great idea, I'm with you on that. Yeah, let's do something. Or others are going to just stand on the side and point fingers at you, But the thing is, you made a decision to do something for yourself. Now, by you improving yourself to become that person that's going to be that business or corporation or entity or whatever it's going to be, again, those around you. So what ends up happening is that those that don't support or that don't vibrate on that frequency, eventually they're going to distance themselves from you, whether it be by your doing, what they're doing, or just natural occurrence. And what's going to happen is that within that vortex, others are going to be drawn to you that are vibrating on that frequency and on their energy. So you're going to lose, I'm just going to say, lack of a better way, you're going to lose 5 to 10 associates or friends, but you're going to gain 15 to 20 powerful individuals that are vibrating and that can assist you on your mission and your process. And they're going to accept you as you are, as you're going to accept them as they are, and you're going to benefit from their energy as they're going to benefit from yours. Because when you're heading in the same direction, it's powerful. That's like I'm just gonna say elderly couple that's been married for 40, 50 years. You know what I'm saying? I've seen this many times in my life. The older majority of the time, it's the woman. The woman will, whatever their lifestyle was like was way before I was born or anything. But whatever they used to do when they got together, like I said, the majority of the time, it's always the lady. She no longer does that anymore. So she finds church or spirituality and she begins her life as such. But the husband or the man wants to drink, he wants to hang out. So it becomes a conflict. But because they've been together for X amount of years, 30, 40, 50 years, that's a functional dysfunction. You know what I'm saying? So they're on two different paths. I mean, the lady is horrible because not horrible, but she's feeling horrible because her mate is still drinking and doing so on and so forth. My man, that's what I'm talking about. That's right. It all starts with you. So again, she, spirituality, but this guy still wants to drink, still wants to hang out, but she wants to, do things on a healthier vibration. That's chaos. That's turmoil. There's no balance. So what ends up happening is she lives a life of being, and I'm just saying for this example, it's not concrete, but she lives a life of misery because she's accepting something that she doesn't desire. Again, it may sound harsh. I'm not sure how it sounds, but that's the way it came out. But you got to look at life as that. We live a life of accepting things that we don't desire because we don't speak up for ourselves. We don't value ourselves. We don't love ourselves enough. So again, the self-work is begin to love you, appreciate you, love yourself. It takes work and it's fine. Everybody won't accept it. Everybody doesn't know about it, but that's okay. They'll learn through you. They'll see their experience. We live in a world where everybody likes to experience things vicariously. That's through someone else. So by you choosing to improve yourself, they can experience what it's like to make a decision to improve themselves through you. That's powerful. Everything that impactful doesn't have to be negative shit talking or static. So it can be something positive and beneficial and healthy. Again, you decide to change your diet, and I mean, you go sit with the family and they're eating all kind of parts of the pork and meat and so on and so forth, but you stick to your vegetables or your fruits or your smoothies or your drinks or whatever you're drinking, and you keeping it light, but you're flourishing, you're vibrant, you speak differently, you act differently, it's just different. So after a while somebody's going to approach you, hey man, tell me a little bit more, what about this? And so change has to happen somewhere. If you're not the catalyst, then you're going to be part of it some way or somehow. So begin to be the catalyst, take on that. I mean, for again, my family, it was a big decision. I ain't gonna say a big decision. To me, it was the only decision, but I had to break the cycle, break the routine. You know what I'm saying? Just the family curses. And to touch on that, there's really, I'm not gonna say there's no such thing as family curses, but you got to comprehend and accept that the environment, if you don't control what's inside of you, your environment has more control over yourself than you. So basically within yourself, if you don't have control over you, you're going to be overly influenced by everything outside of you, meaning people, music, media, just everything outside of you. So that's part of the self-work. Get back control of yourself, learn yourself, know yourself, love yourself enough to where you can make the decisions, your best decisions for you. And through that, that's going to be the light for others. Again, every family out there has major dysfunction. And it was funny to me. I wish I could recall the gentleman that said it, but said, what we do, we live a life every day. We go outside hiding our inner secrets. We're hoping that those that we deal with on the daily or we come across and meet, that they can't tell how jacked up we really are. that was some profound stuff that truly, you got to accept, like, damn, I wonder if they know I do this, or, you know what I'm saying? And that's when you're not fully in tune with yourself. You know what I'm saying? You balance yourself, love yourself, correct what you don't, like you said, whatever you think about, you bring about. So whatever you don't like about yourself, don't think about it. Don't give it no energy. Focus on your positive things. Focus on the things that you want to improve. So rather than looking at something that you don't like, again, just don't give it energy. Accept it for what it is. You ain't got to think about it all day, every day. So rather than think about, you know what I'm saying, the way your feet look, she would think about your art or, you know, something that's beneficial to you. Again, the universe is going to bring back to you exponentially what you think about. So you want to think about and talk about your ugly feet all day, the universe going to keep them feet jacked up. Or you can talk about something that's going to be beneficial. But the universe doesn't care what it gives you. It's just going to give it to you. It's on you. Now picture that. Imagine being I say 6, 7, elementary school, and to be taught these universal laws, to be taught that your mind dictates your life. Your mind dictates your life. How you think, how you talk about what you talk about dictates your life. And if this is the first time you're hearing that, absorb that and assess what you do daily. What do you watch on TV? What your music that you listen to, your conversations, your activities. Are you taking more or are you giving more? Are you giving more value or are you taking more? Are you creating or are you consuming? These are things in the universe that make a huge difference in the outcome of what you do in life. Again, we're here to be of service. We're not here to be used. We're here to be of service. When you're of service, you make a decision to help others. Again, these are universal laws. They're not Keystone's laws. There's nothing I have to do with it. These are, again, from my experience, what I experience in life with the people I come across, my interactions and my dealings. And I'm with it. It's totally different than what I used to think, how I used to think, how I used to talk. Again, people talk to me and my conversation doesn't change. It truly doesn't. It'll vary a little bit, but it's going to be the same. Oh man, you still talking like that? Damn right. There's no other way I'm going to talk or speak. So that's the choice I've made. I'm cool. I'm comfortable with it. And along the way, I met some dynamite people, and I know there's some dynamite people waiting for me as I proceed. And I'm with it. That's what I would like to share with you. Again, I'm just reaching out to that one person. That one person going to reach out to another. And it's going to be a chain reaction. And I think back to where I was when, you know, saying within my algorithm of the videos and information I came across. And again, I was solo, had no one to speak with. You know, I'm getting this download of information, and good gosh, I couldn't even frame back then the conversation in a way to where I could even discuss it with anybody. You know what I'm saying? And I had to go through it. You know what I mean? The stuff I was coming across and what I was feeling and what I was seeing, I knew I was in the right direction because it was totally different than what was going on. It was totally different than what everybody else was doing. It was totally different than what everybody else was experiencing and absorbing and consuming. So along the way, it just built momentum as I got to see that I truly had power over a lot of things that happened by the way that I chose to think about it or respond or not to respond. It was on me. I had the keys. You know what I'm saying? I got the keys back. I got the steering wheel. I removed myself from the back of the bus of my life and I put myself in the driver's seat. That's truly how you're going to get to your happiness, people. What you want in life, what you desire in life, or where you want to go. Again, if you feel that you are exactly as you desire to be, that's beautiful. But you got to realize and accept that there's people around you that need you to improve so they can improve. Again, it has to be a catalyst. And sometimes, and a lot of times, everybody can generate within, again, Power is generated from within, not out. So we're raised and conditioned to need things outside of us to power us. Hey, good job, man. Oh, pat on the back, the shoulder, high fives, gold stars. Those are superficial. I mean, once that the backing goes off of that gold star, who moved that star off my chart? It's not there. You got to build that from. Be your own star. Be your own generator. Generate your power from within, your confidence, your love. Everything comes from within. Again, when you power inside of you, nothing outside of you can hurt you. It's physical, but this is the mental world. Everything, again, rule number one, all is mental. Nothing happens in your life that you don't think about. Excuse me, you don't produce or achieve anything in life that you don't think about first. Self-work, people. This is, right now, everybody's elated because these restrictions are being lightened up and they feel they're going to be back in, normalcy. The normalcy is abnormal. Again, normalcy is abnormal. It's anti-nature. That's not normal. Antichrist is moving yourself away from yourself. When you go to chemicals and stuff outside of you, you're moving yourself, removing yourself, from nature. That's what the Antichrist is. It's not somebody that's going to come down from the sky or out of the ground that's going to grab you and hit you with a pitchfork and shit like that. It's you. Are you removing yourself from you? Are you allowing yourself to be removed from yourself? That's the question you should ask yourself. Are you allowing someone to remove you from you? That's the question you have to begin to ask yourself. And if you are being removed from you, how do you adjust that? What corrections do you make? It's up to you. Where you want to go, how you want to do it, where you're going to go. It's truly up to you. This is your world. This is what we're here to do. We're here to be explorers. And truly what we're exploring and what we're supposed to discover is who we are. That's what everybody that's walking this planet right now, their mission is to discover who they are. If you're not in the process of discovering who you are, you're not benefiting yourself in this dimension. This is what we're here to do. That's why there are so many things set up to prevent you from even desiring to even know that you can seek out who you are, what your purpose in life is. But until you make a decision to better yourself, you will not be, I'm going to say privileged or not even privileged. You won't be able to have access to that realm of information that's not much higher than the vibration that you're vibrating on now. Just raise yourself just a little bit, and as the information comes, you're just going to elevate yourself. Your thinking, your talking, your conversation, and your disposition, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can stop, but once you see the light and see really not even see, once you experience it, once you experience what it's like to improve yourself and to love yourself and to know your self-worth without a doubt, regardless of who says, he say, she say, they say, it's a beautiful thing. And more people should be experiencing what it's like to be moving toward excellence. I'm not going to say their perfected self, moving toward excellence. What level of excellence that you're going to aspire and move to all depends on yourself. But again, it's the self-work, people, within yourself, self-work. Whew, all right. I definitely appreciate those that are watching and truly, truly do. Again, anything that I do up here is all love. This is my process to ascend, to achieve and attain what I truly desire. And again, by helping those or assisting those attain and accomplish and achieve what they desire, the universe is going to reciprocate me. So again, I'm just reaching for that one person so that one person can reach for their one person. And so on and so forth, and all of us can prosper. Again, this is a world of abundance, but when you have a mindset of scarcity, you live in fear, you think in fear, and you talk in fear. And if somebody to come around with the mindset of abundance, they sound like they were hitting that pipe. And that's truly the opposite of truly what it is that you don't value yourself like you should. Again, everybody out there, I appreciate this. It's been a while. But yeah, and I won't say that I'm back because I never went anywhere. Time is continuous. You've never seen a wave of energy ever go backwards. So again, it's all about change, adjusting your speaking. So there's no such thing as the past. It's about the here and now. This is where we're at. Appreciate it. I am Keystone. I'm a synthesizer of energy, frequencies, and information that generates increases of consciousness, self-awareness, and self-love for those who do not know who they are or the power they possess. This is KodeR.E.D. Enjoy your day. I'll be seeing you soon.